Namaste to all. Nice to be here. Welcome. What are we calling this? Mini, mini retreat. Chance, there's a nice place for you on the couch here. Come. So, we are going to look at, during this retreat, a few verses, special verses from the Bhagavad Gita, compiled by Swami Shivananda ji. Sometimes it takes a saint to be able to see not so obvious, what is not so obvious. And because the saints have a insight into the text, into human nature, into the intention of what the text, which here the author of which is Bhagavan, really wishes to convey. And so we are going to look at a set of 8 verses over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, in the hope that this particular set of verses and their rendition will give us some insights about how to lead our lives, how to lead our lives, how to grow spiritually, and how to avoid getting stuck in certain areas. So with this, we will say the opening prayers and start with the verses. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururaatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. It is said that the spiritual path is like a razor's edge. In fact, that is the title of a book by Somerset Maugham, Razor's Edge. But all these people got it from the Kathopanishads. Uttishtha, Jagrata, Prapya Varan Nibodatha, Kshurasya Dhara, Nishita Duratyaya, Durgam Pathaha, Kavayo Vadanti. Kavihi means saints, saint poets who are able to see much more than what meets the eye. Vadanti, they say. What do they say? That this is the This is the uh, path. Durgam patha. इधर आइए, come in front. You can come. Durgam patha means a difficult path. The word Durga, we think of goddess with many arms and riding the tiger, etc. But really, Durga means she who is difficult to reach. For whom? For people who are not dharmic. That is why her name is Durga. And also the name means she who helps us to tide over all kinds of difficulties. Very beautiful. And so Durgam Pathaha means the way, the path is Durgama, difficult to reach. And what is it that is here to reach? My own glory, my own sense of freedom, my own feeling of not being bound is what is difficult to reach. And so this is what the people, Kavayaha, the saints, the poet saints of yore, the sadhus, etc., say. The Kathopanishad, in the Kathopanishad, Lord Yama tells this. Therefore, Uttishta, wake up. This is a wake up call of the Upanishad. Jagratha. Jagratha means stay awake, be alert. Prapya varan nibodhata. Know this through gaining a boon. And what is this boon? The boon is the ability to choose to study. That is the greatest boon. No other boon. It's not that we are waiting for some divine dispensation. There is no such thing. The vara here, vara means boon. The vara is the ability to study, having put aside, having suspended for the time being all preoccupations, fears, addictions, and all kinds of thoughts, worries, etc. Put them aside, and then this is the vara. Vara is Guru Prapti. The gain of a teacher is the vara here. And Shastra Prapti, the gain of the Shastra to decode this difficulty of what this life is all about, that is the vara. And then what else is the vara? The Atma Anugraha, the ability. I have to give myself the permission to put myself in a place of study. Because what is the modus operandi? I find excuses all the time. I say something else is calling, something else will always be calling. If nothing is calling, then I'll hear some birds and I'll say, okay, they are calling. So, something will always be calling. There will always be something to do, some place to go, somebody to see. There will always be something that is calling. And therefore, the ability to give myself the treat, that's why it's called retreat. The ability to give myself this gift is what is being talked about here. And the ability to, I give myself the permission to be here. This is what is a vara. Three forms of anugraha we talk about. Guru anugraha, then Shastra anugraha, and then Atma anugraha, which is also sometimes translated as Ishvara anugraha. Sometimes we translate it as we count 4 varas or we count 3. Either way, it's okay. But mainly, you can have Ishvara bless the journey, the spiritual journey of Shravana, listening. You can have Ishvara bless, you can have the Guru bless, but without, and you can have the Shastra, the text bless, but without giving yourself the permission to allow this blessing to work magic in one's life, then all the other forms of vara are what? Moved. They become avara. They don't become vara anymore. So I'm the one who has in my hands the ability to activate these blessings. And so prapya varan nibodhata. This is how I know. Why? Because the path, it is said, is like a kshurasya dhara. Kshura means chaku, a knife. Dhara is the edge. It's like a razor's edge. Why is it like a razor's edge? Because it is primarily full of paradoxes. I have to reach moksha. But then what? Ironically, you are already mukta. You are already free. Who is the one reaching moksha? The one who is already free. Who is the one that needs to know? The one who thinks, I don't know. It's full of paradox. And to make matters even more, let's say, interesting, there is a series of ideas about what should be done. Catch the nose. And then what? Catch the toes. If you miss the nose, catch the toes. What will happen when you catch the toes? Some nice things will happen. There is, what should I say, reduction in the middle portion known as Madhya Pradesh. Okay? That is very nice. If you catch the nose, you are calmer, you are able to breathe better, which is good. Catch the nose means pranayama. Catch the toes, yoga. No problem. All these are auxiliary methods to make one ready for this knowledge, which is what? You are what you seek. You are not away from what you seek. This is what? The knowledge which we call Arsha Vidya, that which has been gained from the sages. So therefore, the pursuit does not become one of doing, but one of knowing. This is what is talked about in the Upanishad here, the mantra which I quoted, Kshurasya dhara nishitha durita. So therefore, prapya varan nibodhata. Know this. The knowing is what is separating me from the truth of myself. It is like this age-old example which we give. There are a pair of glasses. Where are they? On top of the head. And then, if I catch my nose and do pranayama, will I get them? No. So, if I go to a holy person and want to be blessed to get the glasses, I still will not get. A holy person will have a nice chuckle at my expense. That which is right there, that which I am already the possessor of, has to be gained how? Through somebody telling me the glasses that you seek is the pair of glasses that is already on your head. So therefore, this is a matter of knowing rather than doing. And this is how the Atma Jnanam, self ignorance, by which every jiva, in which every jiva is born, and which causes a lot of difficulty. So self ignorance causes difficulty for whom? Only for the human beings. In fact, dogs and cats are already mukta. That is what they are called. They are called already free. Why? Because even the dog does not know it is in fact God. It doesn't say, oh, there is a spelling mistake in my name. It needs to be corrected. It is happy being what it is. The dog has no problems at all. Dog is not depressed. Somebody came once and said, I have a dog that is depressed. Then I have only one question for that person. How long has the dog been with you? That is the only thing to ask. If the dog is depressed, how long it has been with you? Dog cannot be depressed because even though it has Atma Ajnanam, self-ignorance by itself cannot cause problems. In animals, plants, etc., in life forms that are more or less programmed according to the will of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the one who is leading the life of this dog. Where it goes, what it does, when it wags its tail, etc. It's living in the program of Bhagavan. All animals do that. All trees, all plants do that. The oak tree does not say, I'm tired of being in the forest. Nobody even notices me. Father was oak, mother was oak, grandfather was oak, grandmother was oak. This is not okay with me. Not at all. I want to be something else. I want to be different. I'm going to take myself to the beach and become a coconut tree. I'm going to the Bahamas. Does it say that? No. Does not say that. And so, therefore, what is the difference between the animals, plants on the one hand, and human beings? Everybody has Atma Ajnanam. The dog doesn't know it is G-O-D, God. I don't know I am Bhagavan. What's the difference? The difference is, while the dog lives happily under Bhagavan's program, the Jiva does not live happily under Bhagavan's program. In fact, the Jiva is not programmed at all. The Jiva is Ishvara. Ishvara-esque. So there is no programming. The human Jiva has free will completely. Total free will. A free will that is uninhibited in its expression. And what is its expression? Desire is its expression. In its desire, in its capacity to desire, the free will is totally free. That's why, for a list of all kinds of nonsensical desires, we have to look at the human life. The dog, the cow, they're not going to have nonsensical desires. You will never see a cow at a US consulate in India. I think I'm going to have a better life. I want to go to New Jersey, Jersey cow. Okay? I want to become a New Jersey cow. No such desire. It may be there near the US consulate to eat some paper and everything that the people there are eating and throwing. It might be there for that purpose, not for the purposes of applying for a visa. No cow says, I want to do a PhD because I can't stand myself without it. No cow says that. And if, supposing, I saw this in India once, a pair of bullocks leading a bullock cart. They were yoked to the bullock cart. And very nice horns like this, painted with, what's it saying? Little jingle bells, jingling bells, so that when they drag the bullock cart, it would just chime. One of the bullocks had perfectly shaped horns like this. I always love it. I always love it. Bhagavan helps me with illustrations immediately. A background. So, perfectly shaped horns like this. And it was trotting nicely. The other one horn was fine. The other horn was like this. It too was trotting away happily without abandon. It was not saying, I need horn surgery. It should be turned around. Or at least don't paint it and put bells on it because it will be just evident to everybody. No, it was very clear to know that from these examples, it's very clear that animals do not have a complex centered on themselves. There is no complex. The complex makes the pursuit of Atmajnanam, self-knowledge, a very complex issue. A series of complexes is what is the definition of a human being. I don't like myself. I don't like other people also for that matter. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want to be here. If I'm here, I'd rather be there. If I'm this, I'd rather be that. If I have this, I'd rather not have this and have something else instead. And so the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. There is no end to this. This is both a blessing and a bane. It's a blessing because unfettered is my desire, and it leaves me free to know, to have the desire to know the truth of myself. It's a bane, it's a curse because it makes me, it inhibits me from seeking that which I need the most. Both these things are. That is why it is Kshurasya Dhara. That is why the alertness has to be practiced in all stages until this knowledge is gained and assimilated. One has to be alert. Alert to what? Alert to not dropping off accidentally. Alert to becoming complacent, lackadaisical. Alert to being in the place of continued blessings, taking the blessings that come in the form of exposure to these teachings, because the exposure to these teachings wears away the complexes. Ajnanam, self-ignorance. Anyatha jnanam, complexes. Because I do not know who I am, and I have free will that is totally free, I make the error, I commit the error of thinking myself to be what I am not. Taking myself to be what I am not is the expression of Atma Ajnanam in human beings. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. Like even the rope mistaken for, show some signs of life. A totally unknown rope. If I see the rope when it is pitch dark, no moon, no star, no candles, no firebrand, can I mistake the rope for a snake? No. No. Why? Because it is totally unknown. A totally unknown rope cannot be mistaken for a snake. What about a totally known rope? If I go outside now and then I see the rope on the lawn, will I come back screaming? No. Why? Because it's a known rope. A known rope cannot cause fear. And a totally unknown rope cannot cause fear. Then what is the cause of fear? Partially known rope. That's why the snake rope example always has a time zone, twilight zone. It has a time zone. When it's neither dark nor is it light, something I see. It has three bends, Tribhangi, which is also a name for Lord Krishna, but I don't mistake the rope for Lord Krishna. Because Lord Krishna is not on the mind. What is on the mind? some fears. Again, complexes, fears. That is what is in the mind. Immediately I come to the conclusion, eek, snake. That is called aropa, mistaking the ropa for the snake. This is what is called aropa, superimposition, projection. The projection is what is to be understood, to be analyzed, to be shed. How do I shed the projection? That's why we study the Upanishad. Helps me to shed the projections one by one. And so this is a very peculiar problem of self-ignorance. The adhishthana, which is the rope, sthaniya, means that which is in the place of rope, is called adhishthana, the truth of myself. As what? Not needing to be free. Why? I'm already free. Not needing to gain anything. Why? Because all that is there is already gained. Not needing to be anything other than who I am. Why? Because that self is already approvable, already free, already whole, already me. This is fantastic. This is absolutely wonderful. And so it becomes an exercise in knowing rather than doing. There's nothing to do other than to lose one's ignorance. That is all that there is to do, nothing else. And so, this being the case, this is the first reason why it is said, what is that? Kshurasya dhara. Difficult is the way. Difficult is the uh, path. There is no path. What is the path to moksha? It's like a bird flying from one place to another. You cannot mark it. It does not leave a train. It's not a trail. It's not a jet plane which leaves a trail of smoke and vapor. There is no path. Why? Because it is you. It is centered on you. So therefore, that is the first reason why it becomes difficult to understand, difficult to assimilate, needing lots of alertness, aliveness. The second reason why one needs this alertness, this aliveness, is because on the way there is what? The not I attacks the I on the path. What are you doing? No, I'm studying Vedanta. Vedanta, Shmedanta. Who is good? Can you put it on your CV? Well, no. Try it. If you put on your resume, I have self-knowledge. That is a sure way of not getting a job. Go to the interview, they'll say, what is this? You will say, everything is Satchidananda. You are Satchidananda. I am Satchidananda. And the board of people who are interviewing you will look at each other and nod their heads and say, next. That is what will happen. This knowledge does not have utilitarian value in the everyday world in terms of giving dividends in the form of anatma, not I. It does have utilitarian value even in the empirical world when it comes to understanding myself as the Purusha, free from sorrow, free from disenchantment, free from fear, free from all kinds of complexes. It does have value. But as Pujya Swamiji would always say, a value is only valuable when I have value for it. How many people have value for this knowledge? Not many people. And who am I surrounded by? These are the kinds of people. The overthinkers, the naysayers, and the hopeless people who say, what will one more retreat do? Nothing. Vapas aa jao. Come and join back our ranks. What are the ranks? Samsaris. Yeah. And they will deter. Why? Because they want more of them. If you go away too and decide that this is the life for you, not that you are not doing other things, you're doing other things, but you're prioritizing this more than anything else. If you decide that, then it makes a lot of people nervous. Why? Because of two reasons. One, in their hearts, they know this is the path. This is what it is. They know that. And they are unable to do that, or they find themselves, or they have convinced themselves that they are unable to do that, or unwilling to do that, or a little bit of both. That is one reason it's scary. Second reason is there is a pervasive feeling that if I take to a life of Vedanta, my family life will suffer. It will not suffer. Why should it suffer? It should suffer only because because one doesn't understand what is the nature of this suffer. Suffer means journey. Ah, if you don't understand the journey, then there is again, this is also part of this anyatha jnanam. This is also part of the problem. Oh, the family life will suffer. Why should it suffer? Why should it suffer? In fact, if you are more calm, if you are more giving, if you are more honest, if you are more loving, if you are more kind, if you are more compassionate, does it or does it not benefit the family? Benefits. How can it not benefit? In fact, they will themselves tell you after a few retreats, it's been a long time, please go to a retreat. They will themselves see. If you go home spouting Gita verses, it's not that impressive. If you come and say, oh, I know these verses, I know all these things. That's not. People don't need the talk. They're more impressed by what? The walk. They are closely watching you to see how you are leading your life. And thank God for that, because they help one being alert. If you lose it, and definitely you will, and then what will the family people say? Aha, despite you studying the Gita for how many years? And even though it hurts, it is a very good wake up call, honestly. And it is good to look at them kindly at this time and say, yes. So now you have an appreciation of how difficult this path is. So everybody grows. This is why this is very important, because one is surrounded by anatma. Anatma means not I. Not I pursuits overwhelm the I. When? All the time. Of all the people in the world, how many people are studying Vedanta? Very, 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 very few. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidyatati siddhaye. The Lord says in the 7th chapter, at the beginning of the seventh chapter, out of so many people striving, only one person strives in the right way. And out of the few people who are striving in the right way, meaning understanding that this is a matter of knowing and being rather than striving to get something. Because what I seek is not away from me. The few who know that, out of that, Kaschin Mam Vetti Tattvataha, one person knows me as the truth of themselves. These verses are not meant to feel hopeless. Oh, what's the point? 6 chapters. I have wasted my time. Bye bye. That's not the idea. See, I'm warming up now. So then, what is the idea? The idea is that the Lord is encouraging us. The Lord is encouraging, saying that you are one of those few people, you have made it so far. You will make it. Please continue. But still, every so often, the cloud, the unshed rain cloud of, so what? Yeah, I'm striving, so what? Nothing happened. I'm still angry. I'm still subject to sorrow. I'm still an idiot sometimes. I still fall all over my words. I still do not have alignment between words and actions. I'm still lacking in so many things. I don't think I'm going to make this. These kinds of thoughts come and assail more often than not. In the Bhagavad Gita, which is a combination of the vision of Vedanta. And what is the vision of Vedanta? You are it. Okay. So there is no need to play tag because you are it. What is it? The one you seek. You are non separate from that which you seek. You are non separate from that which you want. You are non separate from everything in this universe, including the source of the universe. This is the vision. You are Satchidanandam Brahma. You are Jagat Karanam Brahma. You are that consciousness which is as though occupying this body mind sense complex right now, like even you occupy a hotel room. You check in and what? Check out. Check out. Simple. And when you're there, you don't try to change the decor because you're there for what? Maybe a week, 3 days, whatever it is. You don't say, oh, I don't like this painting. I'm going to make a complaint. I'm going to move this fridge here. I'm going to move the bed. Think about the bed in a hotel, how heavy it is. You don't do anything. You just stay, finish your job, whatever reason you have come to that place for. You finish your job, and then what? Give the card key, you give it back, and you say, I am checking out. This body also likewise is a hotel. That's what it is. Check in, check out. Only the stay is a little longer. For some people, stay is a little longer. That's all. It's a hotel. This body hotel. That's all it is. It is just for the sake of transaction, for the sake of fulfilling whatever purpose I have come to do. But what is the purpose? There is only one purpose. And what is that? Lose the self-ignorance. That is the only purpose. To lose the self-ignorance is the only purpose. And once I have done that, I can just be there as long as Bhagavan checks me out. In the hotel, I am the one who checks in and I am the one who checks out. In the body hotel, Sharira hotel, what? Bhagavan checks me in, Bhagavan checks me out. And so, therefore, the purpose is to lose the self-ignorance. That's the main purpose. This is called Brahma Vidya because this is what helps me to lose the self-ignorance, the truth of who I am, studied properly, judiciously, and seen. I take it as a boon and study that properly. This is what is called Brahma Vidya. But then what? Everybody is not ready. Everybody does not enjoy the same level of readiness. But why? Why doesn't everybody enjoy the same level of readiness? Because simply because anatma proliferates. There are too many things that draw me into this. Too many things. And so therefore, the readiness is not there. I get distracted, I get called elsewhere, I convince myself this is not a worthwhile pursuit, or I tell myself the right time to study Vedanta is when I am 91. At 91, how am I going to be? Huh? First, will I be here or not? That itself is not there, not understood. And if I'm there, am I already, for all practical purposes, checked out? 91, I go and sit in front of the teacher. The teacher says, Tattvamasi, you are Ishvara. What? Who? Body doesn't cooperate. First of all, I can't even sit for the classes. Okay, I'll take it lying down online. Still, I should be able to see, I should be able to hear minimum. I should be able to be present. Mind should bless. That is why the Bhajagovindam says, what does it say? Which is it does a little analysis, a little vichara on what is the correct age to study Brahma Vidya. Oh, some people who are eager beavers will think, oh, I have to study as a child. I really didn't know this. I should have studied it as a child. At 5, instead of going to kindergarten, I should have gone to what? Upanishad garden and studied. Balastavat saktaha. The child is only has asakti, means attachment to what? Krida, which means what? Play. Okay, then as a young person, I should study. Tarunastavat taruni raktaha. Only problem, young person, yes, the mind is clear, everything is wonderful. Young person is interested only in another young person. That's all. Okay, then I should wait till I'm elderly. Vriddhastavat chinta magnaha. The elderly person is preoccupied with worry. What will happen to my property? What will happen? Where will I go? How will this be? All these things. Pare Brahmani, the text laments. In Brahman, nobody is interested. In Param Brahman. So, in other words, there is no right age, there is no wrong age. When the desire comes, like, what is this thing all about? What am I gaining here? In fact, samsara is not a win-win situation. What is it? Lose-lose situation. Better to lose the samsara than to be in a lose-lose situation. As soon as I understand that, that is the right time to study. But still, anatma proliferates, as I said, and what does it do? It makes me worried, it makes me distracted, and it makes me dejected that I'm not making enough progress on this path. So the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita, therefore, is divided into 2, but thanks to Swami Shivananda, we can divide the subject matter into 3. First is Brahma Vidya, to dispel the ignorance of me identifying with the body, mind, sense complex and all the complexes that begin with this identification. This is Brahma Vidya. Then we have the second subject matter, Yoga Shastra, developing the readiness for this knowledge. Yoga here means Karma Yoga. Other forms of yoga are also welcome here. Asana, pranayama, dharana, all this is important because they become the auxiliary means for the preparation to understand I am the whole, I am non-separate from Bhagavan, Bhagavati. This is this is what I have to see. This is what I have to understand. Then these are the two subject matters which we recite at the end of every chapter. Om iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam, and then Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade dash 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 Yoga Nama something Adhyaya. We fill in the name of the chapter. Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. This should be enough. Brahma Vidya, which is the knowledge of the self that frees me from understanding wrongly that I am a product of samsara, that I am identified with the I-ness, the ahankara that is confined to this body, mind, sense complex. It should be enough. Plus, we have Yoga Shastra, how to prepare for this knowledge, what are the right values, what is the right attitude. And the right attitude is here what? Karma Yoga. Many people think Karma Yoga is working without pay in an ashram. Wrong. Totally wrong. Karma Yoga is nothing to do with pay. In fact, it pays us back, really. Karma Yoga is growing from a person who is accustomed to doing what he or she likes into a person who likes whatever there is for that person to do. This is Karma Yoga. It's an inner growth. It's a commitment to inner growth by keeping Bhagavan in the forefront, Ishvara in the forefront. Because that is why I dedicate my actions to Ishvara. I am the instrument, you are the doer. And you are the cause of the results of action, and I accept whatever comes. Whatever comes, I say, yes. This is the second definition of Karma Yoga, learning to say yes to life. Because we are born as children with no on the lips. You look at a 2-year-old, do this. No, no, no. Whole life it goes. From womb to tomb, it is a series of no. But saying yes to life is not becoming a doormat. It is learning to say yes to myself. It is learning to cope with whatever comes as the result of action with grace. And as a result of this, I grow into a person who is more accommodative, more compassionate, less reactive, more responsive, less dependent on others for my own happiness, more independent of samsaras and samsaris. Atmani eva atmana tushtah sthita prajnah tada uchyate. I am a self-sufficient. I discover myself to be self-sufficient in terms of generating my own happiness, because the happiness that is generated, in fact, is my own nature. It is not dependent on contact with an object. ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगाः दुःखयोनयः एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः. 5th chapter. न तेषु रमते बुधः. The person of knowledge does not revel in what? Samsparshaja bhogaha. Samsparshaja means depending upon the contact of the subject with the object, anatma. Bhogaha, all forms of enjoyment that depend on me contacting the object, dependent on a place, on a person, on an event, on a contact with any of these. Dukkhayonayaha evate. They are sourced in sorrow. Yoni means source. They come through the birth canal of sorrow. Why? Adyantavantaha. They all have what? Adivan, Adiman, and Antavan. They all have the fallacy of having a beginning. And if it have a beginning, then what else do you have? An end. They come to an end. Therefore, the wise keep away from that. This is what the 5th chapter says. And how do I understand this? The Brahma Vidya teaches me this. But how do I understand this in the everyday life? Through Karma Yoga. Being okay with what is and understanding that what is Ishvara. What are the first 2 letters of Ishvara in English? Is. Yeah. What is Ishvara? Understanding that. So then this is the second subject matter. And then Swami Shivananda ji introduces us to a very beautiful subject matter, because strewn throughout the verses of the Bhagavad Gita are promises for the shaky minded. Who is not shaky minded? Raise your hand. Nobody will raise. Ah. Promises for the diffident. Promises for the one who says, I don't know how to do this. Promises for the one who says, I think I'm going to throw in the towel, which is a polite way of saying what? I'm going to give up. Something to sustain along the way, like a mile marker. If you're driving, see, in the olden days, they didn't have GPS. Now we just have to look at the phone to say ETA. What is ETA? Yeah. Expected estimated time of arrival, which is what we did while coming here. And then it will say you are arriving. Because in the olden days, they didn't have all this. Only GPS they knew was Guru, Paduka, Stotram. That's all they knew. And so on the road, there will be mile markers. 9/10 means 9/10 of the next mile to the next town is already done. It's there. Let's say 5 miles to the next town. The horses are tired, you are tired, and then somehow you have to go 5 miles. Okay, 4 miles. And then 1 and 1/10 of a mile, and then 9/10 of a mile. Okay, already done. Okay, 1/10 of a mile is left. And what does it do? These are, it reassures. These mile markers reassure me of 2 things. I am on the way. Thing number 1. And then what is the second thing? I will make it. So these are verses of promise strewn across the Bhagavad Gita and made into a beautiful garland by Swami Shivananda. 8 such verses are there, each one very beautiful. And he has his own way of stringing them. Don't think that just because they are strewn all over the Gita, I can just look for the first one in the first verse, second verse, third verse, and go on like that. No. He has aligned them in a certain way that does not always go according to the chapters and the verses. The order is slightly different. But then coming in the study, in the course of the study, we will come to know how and why. So without much ado, let us chant the first verse. Everybody online has the text? Yes? Yeah. Nehabhikramanashosti. Sounding like a funeral. Nehabhikramanashosti.
Nehamanasosti.
Pratyavayo na vidyate.
Pratyavayo na vidyate.
Swalpamapyasya dharmasya.
Salpamapyasya dharmasya.
Rayate mahato bhayat.
Rayate mahato bhayat.
Together. Nehabhikramanashosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Rayate mahato bhayat. See this in the next session, and we'll have a 15-minute break just to stretch and do whatever one needs to do, and then come back. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
There is chai and cookies there. Can you? Yes.